WOCA.
Ocala.
All right, 19 minutes before 11 o'clock, we were wondering if the phone ringing was from Congressman Rich Nugent, and it is. So I will bring up the topic of the UN declaring that you and I are responsible for global warming at another time, unless, of course, Congressman Nugent wants to address that. I say this, just one little note on this, by the way, that if we are, then the one question I always ask the people, these experts who call and tell me this, is that if we are, how is America compared to the other countries? And they almost always go quiet because they don't expect that question. They don't expect me to point out that, China is actually worse than we are right now. That if we're polluting the air and causing it to go hot and causing more snow or something, then okay, so giving you benefit of the doubt, why don't you call China radio stations and complain to them? Because I think we're trying to do our best. Congressman Rich Nugent, how you doing? Good morning.
I'm doing great, Larry. How are you?
Pretty good. Where are you right now?
Well, I'm on the road right now, going into Tampa and then flying out to D.C. in a little bit.
Oh, okay. Let me mention to the listeners that if you're listening on March 24th, you're listening to a live broadcast with Congressman Nugent, so your questions are invited if you want to call in. Before I go to the phone, anything you wanted to address?
Well, I just heard your comments about the UN. The United States has done more than I believe almost any other country.
Thank you.
As it relates into improving air quality and water quality. Do we have a ways to go? Of course we do. But to say that it's just the U.S.'s problem, and I think you hit it on the head, China is the largest polluter today. And if you look at what goes on over in China, they've had to close cities down because of the pollution.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, we haven't had a Chernobyl. Russia did. We don't have we do have birds falling out of the sky, but we don't have the pollution that China has.
No. It's like I said, hey, listen, you can always do better, but to say the United States is the primary cause, that's really what do you expect from the UN? I mean, what do you expect?
I know that's the part that really got to me. Not that, okay, give scientists the benefit of the doubt. Maybe we are, as human beings, collectively contributing to some climate changes. But as Americans, aren't we at least making an effort?
Well, I mean, if you look at what we've done in regards to reduction of pollution, from the automobiles that you drive to the generation of electricity, to all those types of things, we've really reached out and I think have done a pretty darn good job personally.
Yeah, the comedy Magic Team Penn and Teller. They did a little thing where they were trying to make fun of bottled water, and they actually tested municipal water from all over the country, and they said the water in America that comes from your water towers is cleaner than almost all bottled water. Wow.
Listen, it's always easy to point fingers in America, obviously, because of what we do and who we are. So it's always easier to pick on somebody who's actually concerned about clean air and clean water versus a lot of other countries.
Yeah, right. Well, there's so much going on in the world right now between what's going on with Crimea and North Korea and all the other EAs, I guess. Do you want to go to the phones?
Sure.
Okay, let's go to the phones. If you'd like to call Congressman Nugent, the phone line is open. The number is 622-9622. That is the WOCA Climate Control Source Hotline. And we are live on March 24th. Good morning. Thank you for waiting, by the way. You're on the air with Congressman Nugent.
Good morning, Congressman Nugent. This is Sonny calling. And
Good morning, Sonny.
I believe Larry and you are very right in your assessment. And as far as I'm concerned with the UN, we do not need the UN in this country. And my personal opinion is we don't need to be in the UN. But just to go back to it, I think we've had the UN in this country way too long. It's about time for some place like The Hague or Holland or some other country to tolerate these people for 60 years. But we've had enough of them here, and it's costing us, like I believe last year was over $7 billion to say we belong to the UN. I honestly believe that we should pay no more into the UN than China does. And when I say the UN, I'm also saying the money that we put into UNESCO and all the other sub-entities of the UN. And it's just got to stop. We talked about impeachment, and I know you don't like that idea that much because it's messy or whatever, or would take too long. But we don't have to go that route either. Like the UN, all we have to do is start auditing these different agencies and what the administration is doing. And I'm quite sure you'll see a lot of people all of a sudden put on their track shoes and disappearing act like Barney Frank and Christopher Dodd did, when all of a sudden we were questioning the housing fiasco bubble and everything else that they were behind. And I'm just wondering what your opinion is on those two topics, and I'll hang up and listen. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Senator.
Yeah, well, obviously on the UN, I mean, we've cut some funding to the UN. I don't necessarily disagree with you at all. I visited the UN. This is years ago when my older son was just going into West Point, and I took the family up there. And what happened was we went on a tour at the UN, and we left before the tour was over because I was absolutely. And the thing about this is back in let's figure out, it would have been in 2000. And we left. I gathered up the family, and my wife was as frustrated as I was with the rhetoric that was going on by the person, young girl, I believe she was from France, who was basically trashing the United States. And this was back in 2000 about, that we're basically the problems to all the ills in the world. And so I finally had to say, you know what, we're out of here. We got to go. I can't stand it anymore. I was absolutely, I was pretty angry, actually.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And this was, we had a family vacation up to New York to take my older son, like I said, to West Point. It was his first year going to West Point, and we're going to drop him off. And, and that's a heck of a thing to hear. They're guests in this country. Sonny's right. We pay, the lion's share. I think we ought to relook at whatever the formula is for payments, because when that formula was first put in place, we had the largest economy, and we had the largest on exports and all that. Well, that's changed somewhat, and I think some of these other countries ought to foot the bill at a greater extent. And and the other thing is that Sonny touched on Dodd-Frank, and I just met with some small builders and some small community banks from Marion County, Hernando County, Citrus County, and the problems that have been put in place because of overregulation, particularly on these small community banks that was not part of this bubble that was put in place. And they're talking about what appraisals are doing today, to try to fix a problem that they had on, appraisals being tied to banks, the big banks, and writing appraisals to meet the loan. Now they've gotten it in such a jam that most people, if they tried to sell their house, would have a difficult time getting out from their house, only because, they put the appraisal figure as set by the short sales and the foreclosures. And that's hurting everybody. It's hurting you and me. People that want to buy a home can't get loans. It's absolutely, once again, Washington, D.C., trying to fix a problem, they create larger problems half the time. Because they over.
Looks like you have another phone call. Good morning. Thank you for calling. You're on the air.
Hi, it's me again.
Yeah,
You
Sonny.
know, you talk about, excuse me. You talk about what's going on, and the spending that this government is doing is just totally outrageous. I'd like to know why the euro is worth more than the dollar when we own 25% of the IMF. We made it possible for the European Union to stay in business by helping them bail out all their banks, bail out countries. I mean, the European Union, I believe, had Ireland. We've had Greece collapse.
Right.
What is it, 4th times now? And Spain, Italy, and Portugal are on the brink, along with France. And England has had to do some fancy footwork, financial footwork, to keep themselves going. And why is the euro worth more than the dollar? This is a total travesty, and it just seems to me that we want the dollar to collapse. It's not that we're trying to keep it up. We're trying to collapse it. And that's the only conclusion I can come to. I'll hang up and listen to your question, your answer again.
Yeah, I mean, this is once again one of those self-inflicted gunshot wounds that we've done. Let me hit a button here. One of those self-inflicted gunshot wounds that we've done, with, the quantitative easing. If you look at what we've done, by artificially keeping the interest rate low, what we've done is we've inflated the dollar, against other currencies, so we've lost value. We're going to continue to lose value as it readjusts. We're in the worst possible position we can be in with, the way we've done things and the Fed has done things. But the other hand is when the interest rate finally does go back up, we're going to wind up in a serious jam. Just because, think about this. Just because every 1 point interest rate increase is going to increase our debt load dramatically because of what we carry in debt today. They have done more to harm this country by keeping that particular issue artificially low, and we're going to pay the price. And we're seeing it across the board as our dollars devalued across other nations' value of their currency. And I'm not an economist. I wish I was a lot smarter in that area, but it doesn't take somebody brilliant to figure out that you can't continue doing what we're doing and expect a different outcome. And Sonny was right. We spend way too much money in this country, and unfortunately, right now the military is paying the price.
Yeah.
The military is hitting sequestration with 50% of the cuts. When they account for about 16% of the overall budget.
That's absurd too.
Yeah. So what do we do? It's gonna take some tough decisions from Washington D.C. in regards to how we get spending under control, and you can only do so much on the discretionary side, which is where we've been nickel-diming it to death, and the military spending is discretionary spending, but on the other hand, military spending is a requirement because the Constitution talks about the common defense and what we need to do as a country to protect ourselves. And we've made, entered into agreements with, friends, around the globe to help be there for them. Obviously, we weren't there for the Ukraine in this instance. We hear a lot of talk, really tough talk
Right.
by the administration, but we really don't see much, and I guess you see other countries really aren't concerned about what we say anyhow, because they don't think that we will stand with our friends like we should.
Yeah, and on top of that, just going back to the cutting of the military budget. So not only are we not standing up for our friends, but we're weakening our own self-defense.
Oh, absolutely. And that's where people get confused on this. The big thing, the Cold War's over with. Well, Putin didn't get that.
He sure didn't.
But the other thing is, the way you stay safe, the way you help keep your allies safe is by projecting force and having the ability. Not that necessarily that we want to, because, listen, I got 3 kids in the military. I really don't want to see them in a foreign land again.
That's right. That's right.
We've got those T-shirts. But on the other token is, if we weaken ourselves, we will be forced into doing something to defend ourselves or one of our allies. And the reason we're going to be forced into it is because we're not projecting the force that we need to deter people like Putin's and North Korea and others.
That's right.
That's my biggest concern, is that we're weakening ourselves and we're weakening our ability to defend those that are our friends.
And what I have a hard time believing is that your sentiment is the minority sentiment in Congress.
Yeah, well, you got to understand. I mean, there's a whole host of folks in Congress that they really want to stay in office, and part of it, the way you do that is continue to give stuff away. And listen, I've already had a career. I want to do what's right for your kids and my kids and our grandchildren. Yeah. I want to make sure that they have the same opportunities that you and I have.
Congressman, you have a phone call coming in. I want to make sure that we squeeze it in before we run out of time. Good morning. Thank you for calling and for waiting. You're on the air with Congressman Nugent.
Yeah, good morning, and thank you, Larry, and for having him on, and thank you, Congressman. Listen, it appears to me what's going on in this country that our Congress, including you, are totally traitors. You're sending our jobs overseas, you're closing our factories up, and you're bringing the foreigners in to take what jobs is left. Now, I mean, anyone that's got any sense can see what's going on. And then this thing, our leaders have turned their back on our King, our Savior, Jesus Christ. You're promoting the queer agenda, and you promote all this stuff, this free giveaway stuff. We're supposed to be able to have jobs and work, and not give us these little puny ass food stamps. We won't work, and you're totally traitors, every one of you, including you, sir.
See, that's uncalled for. I mean, how can you group everybody with a group decision? Everybody in the group didn't decide the same things. So,
well, everybody's entitled to their opinion. Obviously, I've been in Congress now a grand total of 3 years. Most of these things were voted on and passed years and years before I got there, and so now it's a matter of untangling this mess and getting us back on the right track. Now, we didn't get here, and the caller is correct in a lot of ways, but we didn't get here in 2 years or 10 years. It's been 30-plus years in the making. It's about, we hear a lot of people talk about family values. Well, you can talk about it, but how do you live your life? And, next weekend, my wife and I celebrate our 39th wedding anniversary. We've raised 3 kids, and my 3 sons have served this country. 2 of them have been in Afghanistan and Iraq. So, when you call somebody a traitor, I think, you really need to rethink your words, particularly as a Christian. I would hope that you would rethink the way you phrase things, because when you paint everybody with the same brush, you tend to paint yourself in a corner. And, that's the way it goes.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I apologize. I mean, I'm working this board here, and I'm hearing the words coming out. I'm saying, well, should I cut them off, or should I just let you listen to them?
No.
Yeah, I know.
Listen, it is a free country, and people, have a right to their opinion. It doesn't. All I would say is that, what happens is when you say blanket statements like that, you really diminish what you're trying to point out, I think.
Well, you've served us in so many ways, and in the military, as well as your years as the sheriff. So,
right. So I'm fine with where I am in life, and my commitment to this country, and that's the end of the story. Is my family and I have put ourselves in a position to defend this country, And so, I can take the slings and arrows.
There you go. Sure. Of course you can. May I ask you to stay on the phone when we go off the air so that I have something I want to ask you off the air?
Sure.
Is that all right?
Yep.
Congressman, do you want to give out a phone number before we say goodbye?
Go ahead.
Okay. Let's see. Your number I have here as your local number is 351-1670, correct?
That's correct.
For the listeners. Okay. Okay. Congressman, thank you so much. Please don't hang up. I need to ask you something off the air. And we'll look forward to our conversation next time.
Okay, very good.
All right, but don't hang up. We'll take a little break and we'll be right back.
I'll hang on.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala.
ABC News Now. I'm Karen Chase. Family members of passengers sobbed openly and others walked out in tears as Malaysia's Prime Minister confirmed their worst fears at a news conference, announcing the missing Malaysian Airlines flight had plunged into the Indian Ocean. Families were told by the airline there was no hope of survivors. Text messages between Oscar Pistorius and his late girlfriend show they argued about his temper, and she was sometimes afraid of him. He has said he shot her after mistaking her for an intruder, but prosecutors say he fired in anger after an argument. Search teams in suburban Seattle say the mudslide is like quicksand, but hopes of finding any more survivors is dwindling. 8 bodies have been pulled from the sludge of the collapsed hillside. 30 homes have been destroyed. E-cigarettes, often touted as safer than tobacco, may hold a hidden danger. Poison control centers have seen a 300% surge in phone calls about children getting sick from drinking the nicotine vials that fuel them. President Obama personally telephoned China's president to thank him for his hospitality toward his family during their visit. This is ABC News.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? There's a tremendous price war among the major term life companies. Rates have dropped dramatically in the past few years. For example, a man age 45 non-tobacco user, $1 million of coverage, $75 per month level rate for the next 10 years. Or a man age 50 non-tobacco can obtain $500,000 of coverage for a monthly premium of only $110 per month, guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. That's right, level rate guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. If you're a smoker, we have great rates available for you as well. At Term Busters, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. If you're looking for new or replacement term life insurance, call today for a quote at 1-800-569-5440. That's 1-800-569-5440. You're probably paying more than you should. Call Term Busters, 1-800-569-5440, or visit our website at termbusters.net. Remember, 1-800-569-5440. Rates and availability may vary by state. Sample rate quotes based on preferred non-tobacco underwriting. Exam required to qualify.
Habitat for Humanity of Marion County is a ministry dedicated to improving lives by providing affordable and decent housing. Help them help others by visiting the Habitat for Humanity Ocala Restore at 926 Northwest 27th Avenue. To schedule a donation, give us a call at 401-0075 and we'll come pick it up. For more information, visit ocalarestore.org. Habitat for Humanity of Marion County. Building homes, building hope, building community.
At Phoenix Infinitum LLC, we are a service-disabled, veteran-owned small business. We specialize in visual advertisements such as graphics, decals, banners, vehicle wraps, and promotional items. Phoenix Infinitum LLC is also your one-stop tactical outfitter with handmade gear made to exceed military specifications like backpacks, range gear, canine equipment, armor carriers, medical bags and supplies, patches, badges, and 100% of it is made right here in Ocala. Phoenix Infinitum LLC is located at 851 Northwest 24th Court in the Bryan Industrial Park. Visit us on the web at phxunlimited.us or call us today to see how we can help you. 352-351-3535. That's 352-351-3535.
Hi, Robin. You look tired.
I am. I've been running all over town.
Why? Why not drive?
I need to get this stupid document notarized.
Well, that's easy. You need personal service.
Duh. That's what I've been looking for.
You need to go see Mark at the Personal Service Center. He can notarize that for you, make copies, fax it wherever, or send it out in the mail. Heck, he can even scan it and email it for you.
Really? Where is he at?
2375 Northeast 25th Avenue, on the corner of Northeast 25th Avenue and 24th Street. You can call him at 789-6683.
Personal Service Center. Thanks, Larry.
Are you wasting hundreds or thousands of dollars on termite retreat fees? If you're not with Turner Pest Control, you probably are. Turner Pest Control offers the industry's only termite and pest control package that never charges retreat fees, ever. You can get started today for only $99. This is a value of $500 or more. This includes treatments, installation of monitoring stations, quarterly pest control, and a lifetime guarantee, all for an unbelievable low $99. Even if you have another pest control provider, visit turnerpest.com to find out how you can avoid paying those high termite retreat fees.
Hey, it's Christy with Ocala Mac and PC Repair and Ocala Guest Wi-Fi to let you know we have you covered. We are the only local certified Apple and Microsoft computer company in Ocala. We are family owned and operated. From mobile repair to wireless networks, viruses, new systems, or security cameras, we do it all. Check us out online, ocalamacpc.com, or give us a call, 352-566-8324.
Tell them Nick, Madison, or Mason sent you and get free diagnostic.
Get your internet telephone service from the company that brought affordable internet service to Ocala in the first place. All is Safe is a sister company of Ocala Guest Wi-Fi, a company you've known and trusted for all your internet needs. Whether you need a phone or hundreds, we've got the products and services to meet your needs both now and in the future. Our